found that out. Okay, cool.
Wow. Awesome. Okay. So is it saying on Zoom that it's
Yeah,
streaming?
it's the meeting
Okay.
is now streaming live on YouTube.
Okay. Woo. And let me record it just in case. It's still saying, okay, I think,
Yeah, I'm seeing, I think we're live. Hi, if we are.
oh shoot, what am I doing? Bear with me, everybody. So, okay. I needed to mute it on YouTube. Okay. Lori, I'm so excited
Sarah.
to be with you. We're on YouTube, and hello to everybody who is watching this now or in the future. My name is Kara Goodwin, and I'm the host of the Meditation Conversation podcast. And Lori, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, I'm Lori Williams. What, I don't know how to introduce that.
I'm
I'm
lots of things. Let me
I'm
just,
lots of things.
yeah.
I like to talk about psychic, spiritual, metaphysical stuff.
You're a
Reiki
channeler. You've
master,
got the Into the
channeler.
Blue podcast with Sarah Evans,
Yes. Published
Reiki
books.
master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of
Your
it. Like, I
your
love to teach
song.
stuff, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. So just to give everybody a little bit of background of what we're doing, lots of things going on with why we're meeting here today. One being that Lori, was it last week, was like, she was sending me a message. She's like, why do I keep seeing like you and I having this regular like go live on YouTube and it just keeps coming in? And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. I would love to do that. And it's just like a quick, not like forever, but just like maybe 20 minutes, half an hour or something. I was like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. And then 2 nights ago, I had all this crazy stuff happening in the hypnagogic state that I was sharing with you yesterday. Then you were texting me this morning that you've had like missing time and crazy stuff happening. And people in your world are also having, you've got people texting you who are like, oh my God, this weird thing happened last night. So
Yeah.
seems like there is a portal that's open, and we're recording this on November 8th. So, of course, we have 11/11 coming up
It's
on
11:11
Monday.
my time.
Oh my gosh.
I was
And when you were sending me this morning, you were sending me a voice note to try to like share what has been going on. I looked at the clock. It was 11:11 because I'm an hour ahead of you. And there was a pause button. For some reason, pause was showing on my dashboard. So I was seeing the pause symbol, which is two ones
oh, oh.
basically, right next to 1111. So it was like, okay, ones, I see you. Thank you.
hmm hmm
So anyway, it does seem that there is maybe a portal open, maybe the 1111 portal's already
hmm
open. Because I felt like I was like 4 days early for what came
hmm
for me. You feel like you've had upgrades, you actually don't know what's happened. I felt like when I was going through what I went through 2 nights ago, it felt like upgrades, and I still don't fully know, and it might be a while before I even know like what opened up, what came through, because sometimes we don't know until we get the chance to kind of flex that muscle, like, oh, I can do this now. Like,
Well, yeah, just happened to
so
me.
right. So anyway, that's a little bit about where we are. We're going to get as far as we can get today because I have a hard stop coming up. Um, so we may have to leave on a cliffhanger, which could also be fun. And then we'll pick it back up in a few days. Maybe we'll meet on 11/11 and pick things back up. I don't know. So
Ooh,
all
teaser.
of that to kind of build up to, do you want to start with like what has been going on, even though there are a lot of holes for you? You're like, I don't know. I don't know what has been
Right.
going on.
What? What? You just kind of have to roll with it. But the Pleiadians literally like they told me like we are in the portal. So 11/1 to 11/11 is the Pleiadian portal every year. And I have had this happen to me for the past 2 years as, post awakening and all this kind of stuff. Well, during pre and all that good stuff. But literally, it was kind of like that yada moment where it was like we are in a portal. And you always hear that, you always hear, oh, it's Lionsgate, or it's a, the whatever 222 portal, and that's great, but sometimes I don't always feel anything or have like experiences. Every time during this part of the year, I do always have something big happen to me. It's kind of was coming back to me. So, but everybody else in my vortex is kind of experiencing it too. We're all having very vivid dreams, kind of just some supernatural experiences. But yeah, last night I was meditating, and it was a 25-minute guided meditation, and I don't know what happened. Like I literally like I remember the first 2 minutes, and after that I was gone. I have no friend. It felt like I was gone for hours. And when I looked back at my phone, it had been maybe 35, 40 minutes, something like that. Didn't make sense. I came back into my body really hard and fast, and I was trying to like sort it out. I still can't. I do know that I was given some sort of upgrades, and I was connecting in with my Pleiadian, guides and whatnot. So when I pulled my cards, that kind of that was all very confirming. All the cards were pointing towards that. But it was interesting because I just came out of a session before you and I logged on. Me and Sarah, we just had a private channeling session with a client, and I was getting she normally sees that if anybody's watched our webinar stuff, she'll get more clairvoyantly see people in the room or experience that. I am more knowing and feeling, and then I'll bounce off of that. I had a mantis like energy. Like
I
I
just
was
got all
like,
kinds of
it
chills
was
down
a
my
whole,
spine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was really, I kind of had to like stop it. I was like, Sarah, are you saying it? She was like, yeah, like it's over here. And I was like, I'm experiencing that. And then Edgar Casey was in the room.
That gives me chills too. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh. It was and I
Wow.
was like, okay, this could be part of the new gifts that are coming online, but it's that vortex. I actually had to close my crown chakra down last night because it was, or kind of level it down a little bit. Can't ever really close anything off, but because it was so big. Like I just felt like I was getting anything and I was just and I could slip over into dimensions. I was seeing myself in other incarnations, and it was I want to say like too easy, but it was almost too easy. Like it was just because you were just slipping and seeing all of that. And it was a little disorienting, but cool.
Mhm.
So something is going on with time right now. I'm very curious to hear what other people are experiencing, if
Yeah.
they're having some of these, astral travel projections and
Yeah.
supernatural things happening to them. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's really interesting, like because the night before, as I was alluding to before, and I know I've shared this with you, but um, so 2 nights ago, I was in that kind of hypnagogic state. So for you, it was like you kind of like left
Yeah,
and then
gone.
came back in and you just don't know what happened. For
Mm-mm.
me, it was that time when you're kind of drifting off to sleep. So the hypnagogic state is what that's known as when you're like between wake and sleep. For me, I had an eye mask on and my eyes were open part of the time. Like I like to do that because sometimes I will drift into sleep. Like
Hmm.
things will start to happen and I know I'm not asleep yet, but it's so close to sleep that I could just drop right into sleep
Yeah.
and then I lose it. Like I lose the memory. I don't actually remember what happened and I'm not really like present in as little Kara
Yeah,
um,
right.
for it. So I like to open my eyes because that keeps me awake. But then it's the darkness helps too. But I was seeing things like you were talking about, like very like as though I mean it wasn't even just like it was obviously it was my mind,
Yeah.
but it was like I was there, it was
Hmm.
this just as big as like being there in person, like it was right in front of me, but it felt like a ship,
Hmm.
like being on a ship, but it was very Star Trekky. Like
Hmm.
it was very like there were little groups of cushions, for example, like or like padded seats that it felt like you could just get there with a group of four and kind of have a little coffee or something. It was
I
very
love this.
it felt like a student union or like a library that's got like little group places that is set up so that you can kind of come together casually and comfortably. But then I did see like a control center, and so there was a technical aspect of it too. And then I felt like I was
Talk about that stuff
starting.
beforehand, though, that you were telling me about the geometry. I think that is very cool.
Yes. So there was this energy that came in all of a sudden, and it was like these units of, I don't know how to describe them, like photonic units. It was like little energy units. And it was like once a few of them appeared, like a ton of them appeared. It was like, and they kept building. There were just more and more and more of them. And they started connecting, like all of them were connecting to each other, very much rapid fire, like almost all at once, but not quite all at once. And they were connecting horizontally, vertically, like this was running the whole like length of my body and above and below and beyond the width of my body. And
Wow.
it was like as they were connecting, all this stuff was building up, all this energy was building up. And it felt like there was a very palpable sense of like of energy. And I even at one point was like, I don't know if I can handle this. Like
Yes.
because it was like all this stuff happening so fast all at once. And it felt almost too much.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I was
yes.
like, this might tip me over the edge. Like I don't know. And so I was kind of like, I don't know if I don't really want to stop it, but like, am I gonna dip over into like this is too much? It's frying me or
That's
something.
it. That's how I felt last night.
Interesting.
Because I was like, oh my, because I can hold a lot, I mean,
Yeah.
especially when you're holding like mantis energy or the, ET energy, you're channeling that, it comes in the crown and it's a lot. But yeah, you kind of get a little bit of that like, whoo, um, I need
Ah,
to come back into this part of the body a little bit more.
right, right. And
Yeah.
luckily it was all okay. And I mean,
Right.
it felt good. It's weird. It's
Yes,
like
yes.
feels so good, but it's also like just a lot, So
Hmm.
it's funny because I didn't want to stop it, but I also didn't want to break.
I'm with you. Yeah, because you have that moment where you're like, higher self, can you get in here? Just make sure we don't fry the circuits. Like
Yes.
we are it's I'm getting the imagery of Tom Cruise in the latest Mission Impossible where he's going to Mach 10. I don't know if anybody has seen that. Oh, you've got to watch it at the very beginning. And he pushes it. He's only supposed to go to a certain point and he keeps pushing it to see if he can go a little bit more. And I think he goes to like 10, 1, 10,
Oh, is
11.
this Top Gun, you mean?
Yeah, no,
Oh, it
it's
is?
Rogue Nation. It's the latest. Wait,
Okay.
wait, wait, wait.
Because
No, no,
Top Gun
no.
is like that
It's
too.
Maverick. It's yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm
I
I'm
have
blending
seen that.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blending my dimensions and movies. That is it. Yeah, but that's what it feels like where he's doing the test run and that's kind of I that's what you're describing. It was like, uh-oh, and it's like they were pushing in like a little bit more and you're going, are we gonna bust it?
Yeah. Yep. I like it. I like it. And don't break me.
I'm good, but I still got to fit in this body.
Yeah. And it was this exponential as well, where it was just like, it was as though there was a tipping point of like, it's building up. And then it was like, whoa, it's coming in so fast and so thick. And
Mhm.
um, it was really beautiful, but
Yeah.
just also like very real energy,
Yes.
And that was actually before I started seeing the other things, I think, too. So,
Yeah, that's what you were saying. Yeah.
and I love the how you were talking about the gifts that come online. It's like you had the opportunity today where it's like, oh, I do this now. Edgar Casey comes in now. Okay, that's cool.
Okay. I don't
And
know.
that's
I mean, whatever. Like, but I knew when I came out, I was like, I was somewhere, they told me I just knew that like something has occurred. I don't know if it's an upgrade. I don't, but I was given information. It's missing time. Like it's almost feels, yeah, like a little bit of amnesia where you're just kind of like, what happened? But at the same time, I know like everything's okay. You know what I mean? Because I know who and
Mhm,
what I was connecting in with. And I'm like, it'll be shown later, I mean, but
mhm.
it was a big upgrade, but yeah.
It was something else that I shared with you yesterday that I know you related to is I was seeing like sometimes I can perceive the energy that kind of is around my body and it's related to dimensions and it depends on where my attention is, what level I'm focusing in on, what I see, what I perceive. And this had a very like palacey, like palatial feel to it. It's like if you've ever been in a castle, like in Europe. I've lived in Europe for several years, and you just kind of go and see these historical castles, and the intricacy of the decor inside the castles, it very much reminds me of that. And so there
Mm.
was this layer, and there were a lot of like deep pink, and like that was the kind of overarching color of it. But there were lots of colors and lots of design. But it was like I had reached this level, this boundary of my own energy. And it was so familiar. And I knew that in other hypnagogic states, I have seen this place, this dimension, this design, this geometric pattern. So it was like once I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I know, I remember this, I know this. But I also had this sense of like I was just on the verge of falling asleep. And it was like, okay, stay up, care, stay awake, open your eyes, stay awake, because I was like, I think it's like a common place I go when I sleep, is the
Mhm.
impression I had, because it was like so familiar that I was like, oh yeah, if I just drift off, I'll just stay, like I can just go here. It was kind of like this sense of familiarity that maybe I pass through this when
Mhm.
I go to sleep, and I'm just used to it. But in that state, it was familiar, but I also, as my human self, I don't experience it that much. So it was just really funny where it was like, oh yeah, this place. Okay, hang in there so you can enjoy it, because it was like, oh, I could just be in this and be this, but I know I have to be asleep to do that.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, or like, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who trance channel and that's what they do. Like they have a place like that. There's oh, I can't think of her name. She channels Adama. And when she does that, when she trance channels out or whatever, she goes to like her little place like that in Telos and she'll go into like
Oh,
she's like, yeah, that's where I am. I'm like sitting in that place while I'm trance channeling. And that's kind of what that's reminding me of like you slipping
yeah.
over and then, experiencing.
I'm trying to think of what I think I know that woman. Is it like a car,
Yes, yes. She's got
what is
blonde
her?
hair.
Yes.
I saw her on Ruben's show and they're like
Yes.
sitting in the forest or whatever doing the interview. So I can see her doing that, now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I can't remember her name, but I like her.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So
That's
interesting. And then you've
cool.
heard from other people who have had other experience. Was it all last night that a lot of people had things?
Yeah. Well, all week it's kind of been slippy slidey. Like I just feel like time has been weird ever with the, election stuff going on and all of that. That's all felt very weird. There's just feel like there's been kind of like a haze or a fog over everything. And so time is feeling really, really like slippery is the best way I know how to say it. Like the mornings have been, and a lot of people are kind of commenting on this. The mornings seem to go by fast, and then kind of the afternoon is really slowing down. So it just feels like there's nothing linear right now. It just feels like time is very off. But yes, one of my good friends, she was messaging this morning, and she had a dental. I'm sure she doesn't mind me sharing this. She had a dental appointment, and she said as she was laying in the dental chair, she was like, it was the wildest thing. She's like, they were really doing a lot, on my mouth, like it's a cleaning appointment. You take x-rays, you do the deal. And she said, I'm laying there and I'm looking down at my legs. And she was like, it was like I was gone. She's like, I was like, those are my legs, but I feel really light and I feel like I'm up above, kind of watching myself. So, kind of like an astral projection is what, it was sounding like to me. And that's the way I felt last night. I was so light, like I could not feel my body. And I was like, I can't even feel my heartbeat. I mean, it was just this weird
Mm.
moment where you're just like, I feel like a light body, right now. I felt like such expanded consciousness, peace and love, but yet for the 3D body and the 3D mind, you're trying to assimilate that and be like, okay, I'm used to feeling density. I'm used to
Yeah.
feeling, like the solidness and to feel that light, but while being awake. And she was very much, awake, but she's like, I got very sleepy and I just felt
Mm.
so relaxed and I just felt like I was just lifted out. And then, yeah, other friends are telling me about dreams they had last night and very much slipping over into other dimensions. Like the ease into which it's happening is fascinating. It's so easy. Like your consciousness feels very expanded, and there's just a big opening. The veil feels really, really thin. So,
Yeah.
oh,
So fascinating.
I know.
Well, I'm excited for the next few days as we continue through this window, through this
Yeah,
portal. Um,
it's a big time.
yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Lori.
Yeah.
This was so fun, and we'll keep coming together in this way and connecting and updating and please, if you have watched this, listened to it, and you can relate and you're having your own experiences, feel free to share what you like in the comments. We're really curious to see
Me,
how
yeah.
this is happening with everybbe. So we would love to hear how this is presenting for you.
Yeah, I know it's not just us. I
Yeah.
really want to read those comments and see what people are experiencing. So I encourage, if you feel comfortable to share, I would personally love to read it for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I love you.
I love you. Thanks for doing this.
Okay. Yes. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Awesome. That was so fun.
That was fun. I feel like, are we still live on YouTube?